Hello guys, I'm Marlena and I'm going to repot this avocado tree. So it is 2 years old and 1 month and 2 days. So we are the 7th April 2023 and its birthday is 9 March 2021. Yes. So as you can see right now, I don't know if you can see it, but it's very visible. It's very thirsty because I didn't water it. Like I wanted to water it now, but I'm like, actually it's a good idea to repot now because the soil it's very dry and so is lighter. Honestly, that's already heavy. So if it's full of water, like it's impossible for me to just pull up. I can, but it hurt my back. it's just too much. So now it's a good time to repot it in this pot. 15-gallon pot approximately. I did a lot of holes with the solder iron solder. I don't remember how you say that in English. And so I did multiple ones, small one, to have a better drainage, but the soil is the most important. If the soil is very well drained, you don't have to do that anyway, but I still do it because I know the roots also need oxygen, especially avocado tree. They are very sensitive to root rot, and the root rot is not really linked to the watering, but more to the lack of oxygen in the soil. And so I did that for drainage and having more surface area of oxygenation. Okay, I'm going to start by putting some soil on the bottom and see the level I want him to be. So he had mulch in the past, but we had storm, and so they just make the pot fall and all the mulch went away. So I'm going to add mulch after that. It's not good. You need mulch on avocado trees. Hi boy, come here, say hi. That's my boy. I have loves you. So this is the soil I'm going to use. I don't know if you see it right. So I do my own mix myself. So I bought a lot of big bags of soil because I have a lot of trays and I need a lot of soil. So this is a mix I did. So I'm going to show the ingredients of the pot I use. I don't say the trend because of the mark, because it's not really important. What is important is the ingredient of the soil. So as you can see, there is no wood chips on it. It's very important because that's something that can cause root rot over time. It will maybe take 1 to a few years, but it can cause root rot. So I don't use any wood chips on it. It's mostly some peat moss, a lot of perlite. Perlite is very good for aeration of the soil. I also add a little bit of vermiculite to retain more water, as the peat moss, but the peat moss will disappear after a few years too. It decomposes. And some biochar. So as you can see, it's very, very well drained and interesting soil for the avocados. So see, there is some wood chips. I just take them off. Usually there's some left, but it's not, it's not like majority of the composition of the soil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the soil on the bottom, and I want to make sure that I don't want the surface of the soil to be too high, because I'm going to have mulch over time, keep all the leaves that fall and leave them. That's super important. I can show a picture of another avocado tree I have that have a good mulch, and you can see the healthy feeder roots that stay on the surface, and so they feed from the mulch that decompose on the surface. The wood chips that I take off from the soil, I had them on the top because they're good. Everything that is decomposing, it's good on the surface, but not in the soil. At least, I mean, I'm not a pro or anything. I'm just, learning with my mistakes, and that's something I believe is important for avocado trees, especially for avocado trees. Okay, so I'm going to add more soil on the bottom anyway. Okay, that. Let's see. Okay, so that's good. I can already put it. Whew, and the soil is very dry, so it's the lighter it can get. Okay, so I'm going to put it now. It's hard. Gardening is hard. It hurt the back. Anyway, I want already more soil, so I'm going to fill up this again before putting it there. Okay, so I'm back. I fill up with more soil, so I do my own mix, so it takes some time. Biochar, it's actually very interesting. A study was done in the past and they showed that avocado growing up in a media that have a certain amount of biochar just grow more. It's not mandatory, right? But I think it's a nice addition for them. And for any kind of trees and plants, now I had it for anything. I had it a little bit, not too much, but it's great because it retains more water, but also you can have a lot of microbial life into it, like microbes and certain like fungal also lives it. So I touch my hair because now that's the most critical moment. I've seen some video where people just cut the pot here, the bottom it, and then they cut it like that to not disturb the roots. I really want to reuse everything I do, so I'm going to not do that because I want to reuse the pots. I just think it's the best to reuse what you can. Okay, let's go. First I take off all the mulch. I don't see the feeder roots right now, so that's not good. That's something I want to improve in this tree. It's having good mulch and see the healthy roots on the surface. Because that will be a big game changer for him. Oh, also, I forgot to say, it's not grafted at all. It's just a seedling. Maybe I will graft it later. I'm not sure, because I know I want to keep some seedlings for experience. I have 3 grafted trees already. One that I grafted myself. I grew the seedling and then I grafted myself. And it is this one, so you can see it have some flowers. And I grabbed this one myself. So I don't know. The pot is smaller, so it's easier to wear, but you can see here the craft mark. It's like a V. I'm not going to let him having fruits because he's way too tiny for that. I want them to grow bigger now, first. I have other avocado, but I'm not training them yet. Okay, so now what I want to do is tap on the side to make sure I can take off the soil from the pot. It will be easier to take off the tree. That. Okay. So I can see the soil is very dry. It really needs water now. Oh, easy. Look at all these roots. This is crazy. That's a lot of healthy roots too. Woo! It was time for repotting. It was in this pot for 1 year only. So see these dry roots? It's not the best, so hopefully it's not root rot. It doesn't look it has root rot, so but you never know. Okay, it's time. What I'm going to do is just release a little bit of these roots. I know I'm breaking some roots, but it will be fine. If it's not a lot, it will be totally fine. Taking off these roots that broke. Okay, it's time. Okay, now I want it to be sure that it is in the middle, well centered. Yeah, you have enough space. So avocados really don't like if you mess up too much with their roots, okay? You don't want to clean the soil in between the roots, especially when they're tall like that. I know this one can be a little bit in shock, but I don't think it will be too bad. We'll see, but I don't think it will die from that, for sure not. I hope. So now I'm going to water directly. I'm going to add more soil with more like fertilizer and warm casting on it on the surface. Like that, it will, when I water it, it will just go down and will reach the other soil below. But now I really need to water, so I'm not going to wait more. I want him to be in these rocks like that because I'm going to water a lot, not just a little bit, a lot, because it's going to leach also, and the excess will come out from the drainage hole, so that's not really a problem. Water too much when you have very good soil, it's not a problem. Okay, I'm going to water now. My water can was there. I need a bigger one, so. Okay, baby. Here's the water. So I'm going to add the same mix of soil, but adding a little bit more vermiculate because I want the surface to stay more wet, a little bit more wet, and some warm casting that is very good for them. It's literally warm scoop. That's the best. That's what nature loves. I mean, plants and trees love. And some organic fertilizer. So I can give some all-purpose, one that is for citrus. It's good too, or fruit trees. It's good too. But always organic. I have seen a lot of insects in that pot, the beneficial ones. The one you don't want in the soil, it's the grubs. So I'm going to put a picture to show it. And if you see them in the soil when you repot, take them out. Give them for food of chicken. If you have chicken, I don't have it. I just don't keep them. Really not. I don't want that in the pot because they feed on roots and that's not good. But a lot of insects are going to eat the wood chips on the surface, so that is good because they eat the organic materials, but not from your trees, just dead organic material, and then their poop is also like very good food for the tree. So you want them, you want life in the soil. I also can put some mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae. I don't know how to say that. It's so hard to say. For me at least. Oh, by the way, I'm French, so I'm not American at all, but I'm living in California, zone 9A, and so they love this weather, for sure. They love it. They need a lot of sun. They don't really need very heat weather. Like when we have a heat wave, usually avocado tree can burn because above a certain temperature, they just don't do the photosynthesis again, and they just stop that. Their stomach stop, and so they don't drink water. Sometimes when you water and the water comes out directly from the bottom, directly in like 2 seconds, I know it's not absorbing the water at all, and that's not good because you think, oh, it's coming out from the bottom, and so I did overwater already, so I stopped watering. But inside, when the soil is very dry, it's actually hydrophobic, so it doesn't absorb water. So you need time for the soil to absorb slowly and slowly the water. So I will leave it there and come back with the good soil. So this soil has worm casting. It's the same mix, so perlite, vermiculite, biochar. I had a little bit of fruit trees, fertilizer, organic always. You want it to be more on the surface because it's a waste. If you put it on the below zone, if you water it, it will flush out directly. So it's a little bit waste to put the fertilizer on the bottom. You want to be on the surface. It's always better. Actually, you can see the dead seed. It's still there. I'm going to show a picture because it's hard to focus on that right now. And it should be looking better soon. The leaves will go up. I hope so. It needs time to absorb the water now. There you go. So now I'm going to add one last thing before adding the mulch. It's so this water is a little bit special. I had some powder of beneficial bacteria and mycorrhiza. So good fungal and good bacteria for the plants and the trees. So we know this is good for them. And yeah, I think it's the good way to put them now. So when you applied it, you want to mix in water and then apply it very fast because they don't survive long once they're in water if they're not near a root. So you want to apply that where you know the root ball is. So near the trunk for this one because the soil outside doesn't have roots yet. Okay, just water. Okay, so here I brought the wood chips that I find in the soil when I was mixing the soil, making my own mix. I find all of these wood. So this is not really a lot of wood for a broad spot, but I keep it. Instead of leaving in the pot, I keep them separate so I can reuse them as a mulch because that's perfect for a mulch. You can also break them when they're not too hard. It's too hard, you break them in half, so it will decompose faster. But you don't have to do that. Sometimes it's too hard. So this is great for mulch. And also, so in the past I was using a potting soil mix. I don't say what it is, it's not important. What is really important is you can see here it's just full of small pieces of wood. It's not really soil, it's wood, you know. And I was used to use this potting soil for all my trees, but I don't do it anymore. But I still have the bag, so what I do, it's because I don't have any other leaves, avocado leaves that I can use as mulch. So I'm going to use that because it's full of wood. It's actually a good mulch, potting soil, but that I use as a mulch. So I put it above it. The mulch is super important to keep the surface wet. You don't want the surface to stay too dry too long like it was. This one it was, that's why it's struggling a little bit. And it's very great because all the wood chips will decompose and feed the roots slowly. You don't want the mulch to touch the trunk because the trunk can be rotting. You don't want it to rot, so you keep it a little bit away from the trunk. But this is a great mulch. And over time, when they will lose the flowers, use the leaves, I'm going to just leave them all above. Everything that fall from the tree, I will leave in a pot to do a better mulch. So this is good. Now I'm going to do the same for this guy. And then I water again. And voila. Now we'll let it sit. And maybe check on them tomorrow and maybe water again tomorrow. Yeah, I will probably do that. To conclude this video, I think the most important is keeping in mind that when you repot an avocado tree, especially once you get a decent size, you want to try to avoid messing with the roots, but at the same time, if it's totally root bound, you want to untangle it a little bit so it doesn't keep growing like in round, like root bound. Because avocados are very sensitive to that. Don't mess up with their roots at all. The second point, very important, is using a very, very well drained soil. That's at least what I do. A lot of inorganic materials like perlite, vermiculite, biochar. I will also add beneficial microbes, bacteria, and fungus that are good. They actually live in relationship, in symbiotic relationship with the trees and plants. I do that also for a lot of other plants and other trees I grow. I don't grow only avocados, but that's the video. It's about avocados. So you can see already he's like getting better, you know. The leaves are going up a little bit. Tomorrow it will look even better, but so that shows me that it's okay. I didn't mess up too much this repotting. So after I repot, I had the soil, I water a lot, multiple times. Even outside the video, I keep watering a lot. And then I had the last layer that is more like a fertilizer, composting. And then I water again. And then I had the mulch on the top and I water again. The mulch is very important. I'm going to work in this, for these two guys, I'm going to work on that over this year. I'm still pretty happy because honestly we had a very bad winter. Like when I say bad, it's been a decade that we didn't have that much rain, that much cold. I mean, for California it was cold, 2-3 degrees Celsius, but for multiple weeks in a row at night it was pretty cold. So this is an example of how cold it was in the morning. It's not snowing, but it gets almost freezing cold. So that's why, you know, it's not looking the best, but it's not too bad. Also, we had like 5 storms in California. I think I actually like when they get some wind. When it's not too strong, I leave them here in the garden, you know, they take some wind and it's good for them. That's why it's for 2 years old, like it have a decent bark, you know, like, but if it's too strong, I put them near a wall to protect a little bit, but I never put them indoors because I want them to get used to that climate, you know, and I really believe that it can make them a little bit stronger to have some wind and some cold. Like, you know, I think it's important for the tree to be able to grow up in an environment that is not perfect. So obviously maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I'm not, like I say, I'm not an expert. I don't know, I'm just passionate by that. And especially avocado tree, they're so cool, so good. Oh my god, they're great avocados. I love them. So in the long term, I want to produce my own avocados. As you can see, this one is flowering.
but not yet. They're just too weak. I want them to grow bigger, and for them to grow bigger you need to give them the good soil, the good food, the good water, and a little bit of wind. You know, at least that's what I do. So obviously if you have advice, recommendation, or you just want to comment or ask me any question, you can do it in the comments below. Oh, I have my Instagram for a long time already. Don't hesitate to contact me in DM in Instagram. Instagram is where I'm the most active, so I will be happy to help. And if you're an expert on avocado, please contact me and explain me what I did wrong, what I did great, and yeah, I mean, I'm open to any advice. That's how I learn over time. It's also learning by other people doing videos, and that's why I want to do this video, to share a little bit of how I did the repot on my avocado. I know a lot of people love this tree and ask me how I do that, so here we go. So anyway, let me know if you have something to say in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. That's a good point. Look at that, that's mulch. Hopla.